I'm Manuel Hernandez and welcome to Norwich City Central.
Well, welcome back to the Premier League, Norwich. Hello, everybody. Lewis, Norwich City Central, Man City 5, Norwich 0. And yeah, that was an embarrassing display. I think we was all expecting a Norwich City loss, but I'm struggling to think of any redeeming qualities or any redeeming positives to kind of come out of the game. If there are any, please let me know down below in the comments. But Man City controlled the whole game, dominated us. Norwich struggled to do anything. I think we only had one shot in the game. And yeah, a really terrible display for Norwich. And yeah, the only kind of positive I can think of from this game is that it's over. Just Man City's balls in behind, their pressing, their Norwich's lack of physicality. We couldn't get close, and it's probably one of the worst displays I think we've seen under Daniel Farke coming into a new season. Norwich are not going to have the same excuses that we did last time around. You know, we've spent over £50 million this transfer window. We're not going to be able to have the same excuses. We've got the money. We've prepared well. This is it now for Daniel Farke and Stuart Webber as a team to try and get this Premier League right. And Norwich's Premier League survival is not going to be dictated against Man City. We saw 2 years ago one of Norwich's best individual displays, beating Man City 3-2 at Carrow Road. And then after that, we went on and lost loads of games in October and November. So there's 36 games to go, and thank God this one's over. But yeah, we're going to have to learn the lessons of the Premier League campaign before. And Norwich City in this game, yeah, we're just all over the place, and it was an absolute mess. And yeah, very little positives to take from it. But yeah, I'd love to hear your comments down below in the comment section. I'm not really too downbeat because it is the second game of the season and there's 36 to go, disrupted pre-season, and our season properly starts, in my opinion, against Leicester now that we've had a couple of games to get into it. But yeah, really worried by that performance because it was just so similar to what we've seen before and not really any lessons learned. But like, our survival is not going to be dictated about how we play against Man City. But yeah, going into this game, 4-3-3 lineup, the exact same team we played against Liverpool. Lucas Rupp, I've watched him many times now, and look, we've said Marcus Cheaperman, Tom Tribal, Mo Leitner's not good enough for the Premier League, Alex Tettey and Rancic as well. I look at Lucas Rupp and I don't think he's, from what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of him, I don't think he's any better at any of those players, and I struggle to see what he offers in the Premier League. So he comes in and he was kind of playing in that number 10 role, the one who's trying to break forward with Gilmour and Pierre-Lee-Malou sitting back. But yeah, Norwich City from the first minute got absolutely done over. Man City playing between the lines with pace, with energy, bearing in mind they're probably missing their two best players in De Bruyne and Foden. But yeah, switch play, Giannoulis loses his man Gabriel Jesus, who was playing kind of in the right wing role, drills it across the 6-yard box, and Grant Hanley completely gets his positioning wrong, sticks out a leg, and I think it comes off Tim Krul's head and goes in as a Tim Krul own goal, which is unfortunate for him. But yeah, really lazy defending from Norwich, lazy defending from Dimitri Giannoulis, and a poor goal to concede him. He almost made it 2-0 straight after. And VAR, you guys know, watching me, I'm not a fan of VAR, and yeah, I think Norwich got lucky, to be honest. I think Rashica kind of slips over his own arse. Man City score, they go back, and eventually, you know, the goal's ruled out because of a foul on Rashica. I thought there was very little in it, and I'm worried about watching Premier League football with VAR in the grounds, but that's another issue for another time. Man City then make it 2-0, the exact same issue again. Dimitri Giannoulis is caught, and a lot of these goals, as you're going to find out from this video and watching the game, are all very similar. Again, Man City have the ball on their left-hand side of the pitch, switch a play down the right-hand side. Giannoulis is caught out. Gabriel Jesus gets in behind, and it's his second assist, drills it across the 6-yard box, and this time, rather than Grant Hanley's kind of legs all over the place like a spider on skates, it's Jack Grealish who puts the goal in, kind of comes off his knee. Max Aarons probably should clear it off the line. But yeah, lots of really poor displays, and Max Aarons was someone who also had both fullbacks had a really poor display, particularly in that first half. And if you look at Jamal Lewis, if you look at the Premier League 2 years ago, you'd probably say Jamal Lewis had a poor Premier League campaign, and Max Aarons and Sam Byram probably had average campaigns. I'd argue even Sam Byram had a better campaign than Max Aarons at times. But yeah, poor for Max Aarons, but I'm sure he's going to be able to bounce back. But Norwich were 2-0 down at half-time without showing any intent to go forward. He tried to play our style of play from the back, but not a single time did any kind of Norwich player, hey, you know, want to run in behind, try and make something happen. We couldn't make any yards at the pitch. It was just Lucas Rupp, Pierre-Lee Malou, Billy Gilmour who was the best at it. coming to pick up the ball. They're back to goal and not trying to really try and get forward and play progressive passes. And in the second half, Ballymumba comes on for Dimitri Junu's, a really weird sub. It was nice to see Ballymumba get some minutes, and he played well for the most part, although he you could argue he's probably responsible for a couple of goals still. But yeah, weird sub to see Janulis come off, probably not in injury, and probably wouldn't do him the world of good. And Kenny McLean comes up from Lucas Rupp. Really want to see our record signing, Christos Ulis. This Leicester game is when our season properly starts, and for him not to have any minutes on the pitch for me is a concern. I get you want to ease him in, but I would have liked to have seen him come off the bench, and because that front three of Zulish, Cantwell in the middle, Rashika is something I desperately want to see. Not Lucas Rupp playing in the 10, not anything else. I want to see that, and the game probably highlighted a need for a new centre back, someone who's going to push Gibson and Grant Hanley, maybe even someone better. And a central defensive midfielder, because we was completely overrun. But this is probably what a lot of championship clubs were like. Norwich were record breakers in that championship season, and we dominated play with 70% of the ball. This is kind of what it was inflicted on us today, wasn't it? But probably at a worse level. Man City were just too good. But yeah, highlights the need for a couple new players in that defensive region, and some problems, but plenty of time to fix them. But Man City's goals continue to come. Corner, terrible defending, Laporte makes it 3-0. Norwich continue to not have any kind of progressive play. I think Milot Rashica was the only one kind of in the last half an hour trying to stretch Man City, and I'd probably have to give my man the match, although he did very little to affect the game. Man City, they made it 4-0. Sterling comes on. Ballymumba, who was good up to this point, lets his man go. Man City just so good at getting those wingers in behind us, and yeah, Gabriel Jesus leaves it on a plate for Sterling. And then they make it 5-0 as well. It's just so depressing, isn't it, watching it from a Norwich City perspective. Embarrassed and humiliated. And their fifth goal was, again, the exact same type of goal. Man City keeping the ball, Mahrez running in behind, Ballymumba loses his man, and it's a terrible goal to concede that one, and they make it 5-0 Man City, and that's game. But yeah, really worried by that. No, not anyone can kind of come out saying that was a good performance from any of the players. I think Billy Gilmore and Rashica were probably the pick of the bunch, but you want to see Josh Sargent, start over Pookie, in my opinion. And there's just lots of things wrong with it. But as we said, we're never going to be expected to beat Man City, particularly at the Etihad. But you probably would have expected more encouraging signs. You would have expected to see a Norwich City team who didn't continue to make the same defensive mistakes, who were more physical, who were, trying to stretch Man City. Lots of things wrong with that one. Plenty of time to improve. 36 games left. But yeah, there's enough to be concerned about from that game, but also plenty of time to get it right. And going forward, let's see Zulis, let's see Rashica, let's see some pace, let's see some energy, and let's see the stretch teams, and I'm sure we're going to be okay. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. But yeah, really highlights a need for a centre-back and a central defensive midfielder. Man City 5, Norwich City 0. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.